The rough phase is now complete, and now we're going into the finishes. But before we get to that, I want to talk about why the rough phase is so important for the final product.
Well, it's the key to everything, because if you don't have the right placement in the right locations, I don't care how beautiful the materials are, the design is not going to look good. You've got to get the electrical right, you've got to get the plumbing right, the low voltage, the blinds, the sprinklers, the audio video. There's so much that has to come together to have that cohesive finished look, and the rough phase is where that happens.
You know, there's only so many views like this, and being able to have a well-flowing condo unit like this, as open as it is, you guys are making and putting in incredible details, incredible finishes. But before going into that, like, we look at all of the drops for where the lights are gonna go. We see how you guys, you know, cleaned up all the edges when it comes to drywall. You know, these are the things that a lot of homeowners don't even think about. Like, everyone's so focused on the finishes, and that's great because that's the ultimate, that's the final outcome. But what goes in before that is the most important, and that's the defining point of how this whole project is going to come to fruition.
Yeah, and I agree with you. In condos, you know, they're all poured slabs. You know, when they're poured in place, there's usually a 3-inch differential between one side and the other. So the ceilings are always sloped as well. And of course, if you have concrete ceilings, you can't do all the lighting that we have. I mean, they have a chandelier going here, a chandelier going there. You know, in order to be able to accomplish that, we had to drop the ceiling 3 inches in order to do that. And when we did that, of course, we leveled it out too. So, you know, we killed 2 birds with 1 stone. But if you're in a condo and you like a lot of lighting, your only option is to drop the ceiling, because if you don't drop the ceiling, then you're only stuck to maybe 1 or 2 light boxes and then sconces on a wall. So we've given them the ability to really set the mood, set the ambiance. Down this corridor, this hallway, I love.
Yep.
Like, you know, when you're sitting here, you can look right through the kitchen, but when you're sitting here, you can also look right through the entire house. Expansion, that's what makes this house feel so open, feel so good.
Right.
That's actually going to be an art gallery, and that's why there's so much lighting in here. She has a very specific
on the
taste
walls and
on the lights. She has one switch, it's pretty cool, we're going to turn on, and all the art will be lit up. So, you know, those are the types of things that you have to think about. You know, obviously we did the Radio Raw system in here, we automated the system, the blinds are automated, everything had to go back to one closet. There's a lot going on here, and there's a lot of things to think about, lots of details and lots of brain power.
We're standing in the 2B dining room.
Yes.
You know, so let's walk through this, because it's amazing how you guys have been able to define spaces as well as you have.
Definitely a lot of thought process, and with an open concept like we have here, you know, it's typically, you know, you've got to define by using, you know, sometimes a cabinetry or peninsula, or it might be lighting, and here you notice the lighting is specific for the dining room, but the living room is specific for the living room. And then we have the bar area, which is going to be, you know, 2 sconces on each side. And so we use lighting and we use cabinetry, and then even this open window here to give you the views all the way through, but also to give the definition of the room and to be able to define the spaces. So I think it works really well. And this is going to be beautiful too. This will be a wine cellar here, which is going to define this area. So when you come out of the elevator, you have the wine cellar over here, you have a beautiful peninsula, you have a light here. This is definitely a dining room area. This is going to be really nice. We're going to put a 3-inch countertop on here with a beautiful overhang, so they can sit here, have drinks, look into here, a Super Bowl party, have a good time.
You can definitely sit a lot of people here, between the dining room, between the bar, between seating area. You know,
I think this is going to be one of the focal points of the house, because normally everyone generally gets around the kitchen or the kitchen and island. And the kitchen here is a little bit smaller than probably you'd like for an apartment this size, but dining room and entertaining and living room space was the most important thing. But I think right here is where you're going to do a lot of entertaining. It's very close to the bar, of course. You're going to have an ice maker here, a beautiful bar. It's going to be absolutely fantastic. And you come into this part here, which is going to be our one-of-a-kind TV stand, where we used, you know, porcelain tile from Porcelanosa and beautiful floating wall unit. And then we're going to have nice paneling on each side. And again, defining this space, we're going to have 2 sconces, so it's going to be beautiful. And if you look around, it's completely open concept, but you can clearly see the delineation between the 3 different rooms, which I think is nice.
Yeah, no, that's impressive, especially in a condo like this, because you had to remove some walls. There was some, you know, if we look at the before and going through the whole demo process, there's been some big changes here.
Absolutely. The apartment is so much better, so much nicer.
One of the top trends that I keep seeing over and over, and you guys are implementing more and more in your projects, are these large format porcelain slabs. You know, these are beautiful. They're bold. They make statements. You know, what goes into I guess the selection process?
Well, I mean, you know, everyone wants a different finish. There's so many different options out there. But I will tell you, like this is, for instance, this is wall material. So this is not countertop material. A lot of people don't know this, but slab material is a lot thinner than traditional countertop material. So this is, I think this is a 1/4 inch right here, and traditional countertops or porcelain countertops are 1/2 inch, and quartz is 3/4 of an inch. Right. So, you know, we use these, but very expensive. Not only is the material expensive, the putting up of this wall is expensive. Right. This is like $3,500 in labor just to put these 4 pieces of porcelain up. You would think, oh, it's so easy, it's 4 tiles, but no, it's not, and it costs a lot of money. And we did a lot of slabs throughout the place.
I see the large format porcelain walls. I mean, this is stunning in every way.
Beautiful, it really came out fantastic. The client's over the moon, and yeah, it looks fantastic. Can't wait to have it finished and cleaned up.
Yeah, but when looking into this, when people are speccing this into projects, if they're looking for the large format, you know, you mentioned before, it's not just the price of the material, but this is labor intensive, being able to do it right as well.
That's one of the things people have to be very careful about. But you know, at the end of the day is when you do it, you have that one tall tile look. It's a beautiful look. And in here we used it in a lot of different ways. We used it on the wall, we used a 47 by 47 tile on the floor, and we used obviously a countertop. Now they all look identical, but you know, at the end of the day is like, again, you know, we talked about thinking about well thought out. You know, once you put these slabs on the wall, there's no moving anything. If the TV and the cable's not here, if the niche is not right and the power's not there, and the electric that's going into the drawers that she wanted to have, you know, outlets in the drawers, and everything isn't perfectly placed, you've got some major problems on your hands. As you remember, this used to be the toilet, and we made that toilet into a shower, which was pretty cool because now it has an exhaust fan. Not many people have an exhaust fan in a shower, so we were able to go all the way to the ceiling with the glass, which gives it a much nicer enclosure because they have the exhaust fan there. But yeah, if you look at the size of the shower and you look at the detail work, you know, the client came up last minute and said, oh, I really want an archway. We were like, oh my God, how are we gonna do that? Right. You know, porcelain, like a lot of people don't understand, is very delicate. Even though it's a very hard substance, when it's in its original form, when you cut it and you start doing it, it's very easy to break a piece of porcelain or to cut it. So that was a unique piece. She loved it. And you know, we tried to make it come to life, and I think we did a pretty good job of being able to see it. We matched all the veinage, and it looks fantastic.
And if you look inside the archway, the types of tile that you use in that to really keep that linear feel, and
well, we had to come up with something because we can't bend porcelain. So at the end of the day, is we needed to match something that would work, that was bendable, and be able to do that archway. But it came out great. Over here, we moved the plumbing. This was a single vanity, and there used to be another vanity over here, if you recall. And what we did is we put both vanities over here, and we took this area and put more storage. And then we also replaced this area with more storage. So there's a lot of storage in this bathroom. Even though the vanity is a little bit weak on storage because she wanted it to be floating, and she wanted us, we're putting a 6-inch countertop on it, which is gonna be pretty cool. But you know, when you do that, you shrink. If you bring it up from the bottom and you shrink the top, you leave your less stuff. So I think having the extra cabinetry that's gonna be here, this is all gonna be shelving up top here as well, really makes this a beautiful bathroom.
we're in the master, and it's already night and day as far as what it was before.
Absolutely. This was all walls here. As you can still see where the concrete is, this used to be a wall, used to close in here. So it was 2 separate closets that we've now opened up. This was an additional closet. So it felt very confined. You came into the master, you had this long corridor, and then you came into the bedroom. And the client was concerned that the closets weren't going to be big enough, so we wanted to give them plenty of storage. This whole wall is going to be storage. There's going to be a makeup area over there. You know, pretty cool stuff. But some of the stuff that we talked about before is all the planning. Look at all the outlets, the low voltage, the lighting layout. You know, even something as simple as this. You know, people don't realize when you're in a condo that, you know, you don't get to pick and choose where the cable company brings in the wire. You know, as you know, this was a wall before, and we had the whole internet connection coming into the house. We moved everything to the back closet. This week, we're channeling this whole part out, and we're going to connect it through the wall out and take it back to the bedroom. But once that's done, we'll have fixed a major problem, which was how we're going to get the low voltage out of the master bathroom.
Going back to how you guys place all the lights, because these are details that really give that full luxury look. In a touch of a button, everything turns on, you program it.
Yeah, originally, in the original design, I had this ceiling come all the way across. Right. And we're going to have the high ceiling over there and the lower ceiling for the closet. But then we said to ourselves, well, maybe the better idea is to have the different heights and give it a little bit more texture, a little bit more depth. and also make the room feel more air. So we decided to then change the design of the ceiling. This soffit is needed because this is where all the air conditioning runs in the apartment. So that's a little ductwork. And actually it used to end right here, but what happened was when we opened up the walls, we created a sprinkler problem. So by code, I had to bring a sprinkler head over to this part of the room.
Okay.
So I had a orange pipe sitting on the outside of the wall. So
you didn't like the look of that?
I didn't like the orange pipe on the outside of the wall. So, you know, when you do these things, you have to consider, we didn't really take that into consideration because once you open up the walls, then the sprinkler comes in, they do their drawing, and it's like, I gotta put a head here. It's like, you can't put a head there. But as you can see, it looks nice. It frames out this part of the wall. It's not a big deal. But these are the little things that come up when you're doing jobs like this, and it's very important to get them right.
Walk us through what this is gonna be as far as all the electrical.
This is all gonna be like a dresser area right here. There's gonna be, like you said, sconces. You got your TV over here. This is gonna be a makeup area over here, and there's gonna be a lot of closets. It's gonna be all glass. She's gonna be able to turn on one light switch and they're all gonna light up. It's gonna be beautiful.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. So I can't wait to go through more because this condo is one of a kind. You know, it was a cookie cutter prior to, and what you guys have done to this space and how you're changing it and how this is really, you know, what the latest and greatest is for this entire building. Walking out of the master and going into this hallway, it's absolutely amazing. It's stunning. I mean, you have the city over here, you have the beach over here, you see it wall to wall. And looking at everything, I mean, when you have clean walls, luxury finishes, you know, something that I keep noticing throughout this entire project is this clean look. I mean, it's a perfect edge between the walls and the ceilings. You know, what do you do to?
Well, to me, that's a big part of what I do. When I do my inspections and I come in, I was saying if the corners look good, everything looks good. If the corners are wonky and not looking good, then everything is off. Why is this off? Why is this off? But when you come in, everyone's natural inclination is to start looking at the corners. And when they see beautiful, clean corners like that, it makes people feel like, wow, this is a well done job. And it is, of course. We use an expensive product called Flex Tape, and we basically went through every single corner in here and redid all the corners so it'd be nice and straight and even. And those are the things that make something high-end and luxurious. When you come into a property, people are not used to that. Like I go back to jobs from 3 years ago, and I look at them like, wow, this is a really clean job. The corners are the key to be able to fulfill that, wow, this doesn't look right. Your eyes actually don't understand it. It's like, wait a second, I don't usually see everything so clean. This is really something remarkable.
I challenge everybody that's watching this right now, go in your bathroom, go in a room, look at your corners, look at the edges, because most people are gonna find that the contractor, they cut corners. They didn't really, that wasn't important at the time.
You know, we're doing a Venetian plaster in here and a concrete finish.
Right.
So it's even more important that we get the rust right, because these aren't regular painted walls where you could like, all right, let's move the light over a few inches, no big deal. Once that faux painting is done, it is a big deal because it's very hard to match.
Right.
So we have to make sure we get everything right, and that's what we're doing today and tomorrow, making sure we have it. And then we'll be back in the next couple of days, and we'll start the floors. We got the doors coming in, we got the baseboards, and also the wine cellar and stuff is coming in. It's gonna be fantastic. So next week we'll be able to show you a lot more.
We're back on this luxury Miami condo project, and we were talking about the rough stage before, and now we're in the middle of the finishing stage. Derek, what do we have going on here?
A lot going on here today. We got the floor coming in, we've got doors getting installed, we've got the air conditioning people here, electrical people here. Well, let's talk about the painting first. As you can see, we're doing a concrete finish. If you look at the walls over there, even though it's much darker here, you're actually gonna get a much lighter finish. But this is a very popular finish these days. People love this finish. It wears well. It has a nice ability to be able to take wear and tear fairly good as well. And unlike shiny plaster, which people have done in the past, this is more of a matte finish. Right. I think at the end of the day, this is going to be a beautiful look with everything that we're trying to do here.
Without a doubt, it's absolutely beautiful, and just the process of it and how they apply it, you can see how, you know, they're using trowels to be able to put this on. But you know, as far as all of the finishes that we're putting in here, you know, we have this beautiful Venetian plaster, but the flooring that we were just looking at, that they've already been installing, this entire room's already done.
Absolutely.
But let's talk about the product that you're putting in here.
Right, we're putting in here a vinyl, which I used vinyl 3-4 years ago, and I stopped using it because I hate the fact that it looks good, but it scratches so easily. I would have clients move their furniture. Hey, Derek, I have scratches. I'll go over there with a marker and a crayon and try and fix it. This product has titanium in it, so it's a newer product that they've come out with. It's more like a laminate. It's unscratchable, and of course, it's waterproof. So this is 100. We live on the water here, and it's kid-proof too, because they were thinking about doing real wood floors. and they have a 6-month-old child who's going to be taking his cars and throwing across the floors. I said, if you could live with it, I said, wood floors are nice. If they scratch up, they look even nicer.
Yeah.
But that's going to drive you crazy, then we can't do that.
But these floors are beautiful. I mean, they have a texture. They look just like wood. You wouldn't know the difference because just the way that they're installed and just the way that they're manufactured, I mean, it's a luxury product. So we're here in the master and they're actually installing the floor. If you take a close look, I mean, it's absolutely beautiful. You can see the wood grain, and this is a vinyl product. And this is something that is really the more luxury version of what vinyl offers.
Absolutely. As I said before, the scratch resistance is really the key here. Everybody loves vinyl for the waterproof part, but they hate it for the softness part. So this is really a mixture of both of those. As you know, I've been doing more laminate.
Right.
The laminates are only good for 72 hours.
Right.
This is waterproof totally. You can wet mop this.
And you can also look, it has the backing and everything, so you don't have to put any type of substrate or anything.
Yeah, that has the soundproofing built in.
Yeah.
It has a nice little cushion to it, but beautiful.
And when talking about this and what's available for homeowners is the fact that there's a lot of different variety of colors and styles and everything that, other clients that you work with can choose from.
Yeah, I probably brought 20 different floors here until we chose a color that they really loved. And we went back and forth. I brought real wood floors here. I brought the laminate floors in here. And we went back and forth between engineered, laminate, and vinyl. And we finally settled on the vinyl for the reasons I told you. We're close to the water here. They have a child. And the waterproof factor and the scratch resistance. This really has the best of all worlds.
Right, and there's pros to cons to every product, but this is really the perfect mixture of everything that really, especially will offer a family.
Oh, absolutely. For a small child, you're gonna have here, he's gonna be throwing his toys around, scratching things. You definitely want a durable product if you have kids. And then, you don't have to worry about someone dropping a bottle and saying, oh, you wrecked my wood floors. I mean, there's no chance they're gonna hurt this floor. And even if they did, we can cut a piece out and put one in fairly easy. As opposed to an engineered or a real wood floor, that's a much larger problem.
Absolutely. And looking at just all the finishes and everything that we're doing here, in this room, you guys are actually doing a lighter color for the Venetian plaster.
Yes, that's one of the features that we did here. She wanted a slight difference in just her master bedroom. As you can see, it's already dried, it's very light, and it's very subtle. It's not too dark. It looks almost white. If you look at here, you can obviously tell the difference. If you look over to your left, you can see it isn't. When you come in here, it's a very nice light color and definitely gonna make the room feel nice and airy. And if you look at the colors that we're using for the rest of the house, it's blacks and grays and tans. And if you look at this floor, it has just all those colors in it. And certain areas are darker than others, where it really pulls all those textures that we're using. So I think it was a perfect choice for this home.
So when looking at the doors, I mean, obviously the homeowner, these work perfectly in the house. When going through selection process and what could fit in other projects, I mean, I've seen a variety of different styles, colors that you guys have implemented in other homes.
Yeah, I mean, I love these doors. These are probably my favorites. You see them in a lot of jobs because I push them because I love them so much. But a lot of people go with plain white doors. And this goes back to the whole rendering process.
I feel like white is safe.
White is safe, okay? They're like, oh, brown doors, how's that gonna look? I'm like, trust me, they're gonna look great. And I guess at this point, we have enough projects where we've installed the doors where the clients can see what it looks like. You have a white wall and this beautiful brown door. They become a piece of artwork or an expression to your design.
Exactly.
As opposed to a door which you try not to see. These are beautiful. You want to look at these because of the way they're made. It's fantastic.
Definitely. So regardless of somebody's style, regardless of the color palette that's being used in a project, there is something for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, look, like I said earlier, we can use plastic laminate doors, which are a little bit more stronger. You can use veneers. You can use lacquer doors. There's so many different options out there for what you want. But the nice thing is the ability to get a high-end looking door for an economical price. Like if you go to Home Depot right now and buy a regular door and you have that installed, it's probably going to cost you about $600, as opposed to maybe one of these doors, which is $1,000. But you have a door that is terrible compared to a door that's absolutely gorgeous. And I don't think for the money it's that much of a drastic difference. If you have 20 doors in the house, yeah, it's going to cost you an extra $8,000 to do it, but the look is going to be substantially different.
Absolutely, it makes a big impact.
At the start of next week, all the floors will be done, all the doors will be in, all the baseboard will be done, all the walls will be painted.
Right.
Yeah, so we're pretty much done with the shell of the house. All the cabinet doors will be in, all the drawer fronts will be in. So starting of the week after Thanksgiving, it's really about putting in the lights and finishing the plumbing and finishing all the end results, and we're going to get there.
Yep, and I noticed that you have the air conditioning guys here, that are finishing all the ducts, making sure everything's working properly.
Yeah, they're working on the on the line for the wine cellar today.
Oh, no.
Yes, and making sure that everything's gonna be ready for that to accept the wine cellar. They should be coming in next week to 10 days
That's
as well.
gonna be exciting. Can't
So
wait
that's
to
gonna be
see
very
that.
nice. And we're making all the finishing touches to get that ready as well.
Awesome, very exciting. Well, I mean, all of the finishes, everything that you're putting in, I love the colors, I love everything that you guys have brought together here. It's impressive in every way.
Well, thank you. It takes a lot of time and a lot of thought process and a lot of changes along the way.
With-
But finally, I think we're gonna get to something that's gonna be really beautiful and the clients are gonna love it.